Good evening, everybody. Lovely evening for it as well. The rain is still coming down here at Carrow Road. Perfect weather for a football match under the floodlights at Carrow Road. Norwich City's first league midweeker of the season at home to Leicester. It's been a while since this place hosted a game that felt really significant. Tonight feels really significant. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is holding up okay. I've got a dreaded signal in my top left, so hopefully that's okay. Just to set the theme for you, there's some fire boxes around the edge of the pitch, so they're going to be ignited when the players walk onto the pitch. It gives you an indication of the type of occasion Norwich City are trying to create this evening. As you can see, the seat next to me is empty. I'm hoping Mr. Davitt will join us shortly to reflect on the team news when it comes out, and I'm anticipating that it's going to be quite interesting. So we'll give that to you as and when it drops. Leicester, of course, coming into this game off the back of a 4-1 victory against Southampton, who were also beaten by Ipswich Town last night. I think this is it third v fourth here tonight. They've won 5 of 6, and Norwich City's team news is in, and it is as expected. Liam Gibbs replaces Adam Eder in the only change for Norwich City. So they line up like this: Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson and Yanulis as the back four. Gibbs, McLean and Sarah in what we would expect to be a midfield three. Rowe on the left, Fashnak on the right, with Ashley Barnes spearheading the attack. Subbench George Long, Danny Bart, Sam McCallum, Adam Forshaw, Shemba Poeta, Tony Springett, Onel Hernandez, Adam Eder and Huang Yu Zhou. So just to run through that again, one change: Liam Gibbs in for Adam Eder. Norwich City moved to midfield three here against Leicester tonight. Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson and Yanulis the back four. Gibbs, McLean, who captains the side, and Gabriel Sarah as the midfield three, with Rowe and Fashnak on either flank. Ashley Barnes is the man up front. A really, really interesting team selection from David Wagner there. And we all heard how he spoke about Leicester on Thursday when I went down to speak to him. He pretty much already has a P next to their name and has them promoted. Obviously, plenty of water to flow under that particular bridge for now. He clearly feels that they need more control of centre areas. That feels to me like a matching up of the 4-3-3 that Leicester have played. Shouldn't come as too much of a surprise given how informed they have been and how well they've played. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out. There's going to be a lot of responsibility, you would think, on the wide men of Norwich City to get up, to offer Ashley Barnes support, to ensure that they've got runners to get them up the pitch. That feels maybe like the only issue, but they do have options on the bench to change it. Huang on the bench, Eder on the bench, Hernandez on the bench, Springett, Poeta, Forshaw, all of these players who will come on and could influence it as the weather takes a pretty another drastic turn, really. You can see a couple of Norwich City's performance team out there kicking a football, and the ball is zipping off the surface, which you want on a night like this. Really, really intriguing team selection from Norwich, as I felt it would be. I'm on, mate, sorry. That's all right. And we will see how it goes. Obviously, Norwich in the first half last week, Saturday, feels like last week, Saturday, played very well, were very dominant, had a lot of control. Probably the only criticism was they didn't score more goals than they did against Stoke. Second half was a little bit more nervy. Maybe that's why David Wagner decided to opt for a little bit more control in the centre of the pitch, with, as we said, forward options to change the game if necessary. Let's bring you that Leicester team if I can. They, of course, very good win on Friday night. They've had a day to recover than Norwich City. They line up with Manson in goal, Chowdhury, Faze, Vestergaard, Doyle, Winks, Sadie, Yunus, McAtee, Mavidi and Iheanacho. There you go. There is the team for Manson, Yunus, Vestergaard, Faze and Doyle, Kasedi, Winks and Chowdhury, who captains the side. McAteer, who's a young lad on the right-hand side who scored, I think, on Friday night and has made quite the impression so far. Mavididi, who I think was linked with Norwich, but don't think there was anything credible in that whatsoever, with Iheanacho up front. Their subs bench, Stoliarch, Ricardo Pereira, James Justin, Connor Cody, Wilfred Ndidi, Keenan Dewsbury Hall on the bench, one of the players tipped to be one of the better ones in the Championship this season on the bench. Fatua, Vardy and Daka. That is some bench for Leicester. Just to read you again, they've got Stolarask, who is their substitute goalkeeper, Ricardo Pereira, James Justin, Connor Cody, Wilfred Ndidi, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, Fatua, Jamie Vardy and Patson Daka. I think was very close to a deadline day move to the Premier League and to Bournemouth, but that obviously fell through. But I don't know how many changes that is off the top of my head for Leicester, but certainly quite a few from the team that played on Friday night. So interesting to see both managers make slight tweaks. Probably Maresca more so in terms of personnel. David Wagner more so in terms of shape and system. We know how wedded he's been to this idea of playing two up front and how not ideologically wedded he is to it, because he didn't play that much last season, but that, as he has said publicly, has been his preference. So a really interesting game to see Norwich match them up. Really interested to hear how you guys feel it's going to go as well. It feels like one where Norwich may well have to be patient, may well have to keep themselves in the game for long periods, and then you've got the opportunity possibly to throw those attacking two on to try and get yourself a win out of this one. Leicester very strong. If they do, thank you very much. If they do, obviously win this game tonight or lose this game tonight, there does become a little bit of a gap developing between the top three in the division, but at a very, very early stage. Obviously, plenty more football to be played. I really don't know how this one is going to go. I keep kind of splitting between three different results at the moment. I can kind of see all three. Leicester come here in very good form on the back of a very good win. It's going to be, as David Wagner said, Norwich City's toughest of the season so far against a team who got relegated from the Premier League, which is going to be fascinating as well. So I think I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult indeed. Of course, Pinkin Channel's the place to go. I don't think we're going to get Paddy up and join us. He's obviously engaged in other activities, so we'll have to catch up with him later. We'll leave it there. I'm on the live blog this afternoon if you want to follow along, and we will see how this game transpires. Plenty of interesting lines from actually I can see Mr. Davitt, so I might hold on for just a little bit longer in the hope that he does join. But let's just recap that Norwich City team. 4-3-3, we're expecting Gunning goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson, Yanulis, Sarak, Gibbs and McLean as the midfield three, Fashnak, Rowe and Ashley Barnes up front. I can see some of your comments coming through now. DM Neil Lufer says, perfect weather here in Portugal. I bet it is compared to Norfolk tonight. But this is great football weather. I think if you're a player playing in this kind of weather, this is what you want. It's certainly one where if you're trying to get forward quickly, which you can imagine will be a key part of Norwich City's game plan in terms of transition and attacking those spaces that Leicester leave, this will give them opportunities. The pitch will be beneficial to them. The conditions will be beneficial to them. If I had one fear, it would be about whether those wide options can offer Ashley Barnes the support and the mobility to move Norwich City up the pitch. But that's when I guess you're reliant on good running from Liam Gibbs, Gabriel Sara, those midfielders that Norwich City rely on so heavily to create and to try and score goals. So this is going to be a fascinating contest. Leicester, of course, in that 4-3-3 as well, in a really good run of form. Their only defeat of the season has come at home to Hull, although the general feeling and general consensus is, I've got a Norwich City legend behind me if I try and move out of the way. There you go, Mr. Ewan Roberts, who I've been talking about, and he has kind of said that maybe Leicester haven't hit the top gear that people expect of them so far, but they've met the individual quality they've got is quite something. When you look at that squad, the amount of Premier League footballers in there is pretty frightening. So Paddy Davitt is making his way down the road, but there's a little bit of traffic congestion, which is holding him up. So just to run through that Leicester team, again, they've made quite a few changes tonight. They've got Hermansen in goal, Yunus, Vestergaard, Face and Doyle as the back four, Kasede, Winks and Chowdhury as the midfield three, McAteer and Mavadini either side of Kelechi Iheanacho, of course, was once a Manchester City player, and I'm sure when he signed for Leicester had aspirations that were significantly higher than playing in the Championship. Just to run through a few of the names on the Leicester City bench: James Justin, Conor Cody, Jamie Vardy, Patson Daka, Ricardo Pereira, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, Wilfred Ndidi, and look at this for an entrance. Paddy Davitt. Paddy, I'm guessing you've seen the team, which is Norwich City have gone to a free midfield, either out, Gibbs in. What do you make of that? Feels like an attempt to match Leicester City up. Given David Wagner's comments on Thursday, does that come as a particular surprise to you?
It's a mark of respect to Leicester, isn't it? Because he's not done that at all this season. So it probably flows into what he said on Thursday about, these are the benchmark in his opinion. These will get promoted, not even a doubt. So if that's the case, he probably is paying them the respect of, as you say, changing his setup. Maresca in his presser talks about how flexible Norwich were and able to play different styles. We'll definitely get another demonstration tonight, because you can see why he's done it, but given the previous 7 games, he's gone fairly settled in both in formation and personnel. Sargent obviously coming out the side, but that's quite intriguing. He's gone that route. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, Gibbs he's not really pushed his way through yet this season. So
and he's not played him as a holding midfielder either. So I wonder if it's going to look more of a 4-2-3-1 with Gibbs in support of Barnes and maybe doing his running for him and trying to get beyond, but also giving Norwich, I guess, that stability and maybe helping them regain some control of the centre, which I guess Leicester, some of the players they've got in their wings, obviously Dewsbury Hall's on the bench, which is quite significant really, but Cassidy is a good player, had a good loan spell at Reading last season. Chowdhury as well, who's had games in Premier League and Championship level, feels like an attempt to maybe try and compete in that area of the pitch in particular.
Yeah, and he said it previously this season when he was talking specifically about McLean and Zara, and then he threw Forshaw into any team he's ever had any success with, or even football more broadly. Midfield is where where the balance gets tipped, and if you're not competitive in there, you can't establish a measure of parity. It's going to be difficult to win games of football the higher you go, and that is a surprise. Dewsbury Hall coming out, because to me, I watched the Southampton game the other night and I thought him and Winks really were the fulcrum of what Leicester were trying to do. I mean,
which feels like what Norwich have tried to carry out, and obviously Leicester have made changes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for David Wagner, but I'd imagine he was expecting Dewsbury Hall to be in that 11, and probably Vardy as well, looking at the bench. So, games within games, isn't it? Maresca was also talking, as David did to you, about this is a very congested period, this side of this international break, a lot of games. Lineups today won't look probably the same for Norwich's case. Plymouth, people who come in and maybe do well to this tonight might not necessarily feature. So there's clearly an air of, tonight is Leicester, and this, in David's view and his coaching staff, is the best way to get a result. But there's a lot of onus on Gibbs, I think, tonight, because if it goes the other way, then he doesn't have a good game and it doesn't really work in terms of a structure, then we probably won't be seeing him for a little while. So, on a personal level, you hope he has a good game, because after last season, it feels like he's just treading water a little bit, and that's no reflection per se on him. But when you're trying to elbow Kenny McLean and Gabby Zara out the centre mid, it's a difficult task. But I just hope he comes in tonight and on a big stage against, for me, the standout team in the division. He shows what he's all about, which is a very highly rated young midfielder.
Score prediction, how do you see this one going? I've kind of said before you came on, I'm really unsure on how to usually have a feel for it. I don't have any feel for this. I can kind of see it all results if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, as I could. Yeah, I mean, I thought all day the weather might have some part to play. I mean, it's kind of fine mist at the minute.
It's great weather this.
Yeah, exactly, nice and slick, isn't it? And Norwich were having a moan up, weren't they, the Huddersfield game about how dry Warnock had the pitch and that. So there'll be no excuses on that score tonight. I just hope, to echo what David said, that his players are at it, the fan base are at it, and then let's test. If they are the best team in the division, fine, they go on and prove that. But look, give them a test, as David said, make this one of, if not the toughest assignment they'll have all season. And if the result didn't go for you, then I think you still bounce into Plymouth fairly positive, because you'll have gone toe to toe with arguably the best side in the division. But I can't really call it, but that's not unusual. So I'm gonna sit on the fence and say, on a draw tonight, score draw. I think Norwich, that for me would be a real signal that they're hanging about, they're not going anywhere, and that hopefully come the end of the season with a little bit of luck, they'll be in and around that top 6 conversation.
Yeah, I went for 2-2, I think. Which I think, 4 points from the 2 home games. I think if you'd offered that to most people, including probably David Wagner before the Stoke game, most people would have taken. So let's see how it transpires. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the game. It's obviously on TV. I'm on the live blog this evening as well. If you want to come and join us, pinkham.com, the place to go for all the analysis and reaction thereafter. Our YouTube channel as well. All the places to go. And let's see how they go. It certainly feels like a big occasion here tonight at Carrow Road. The question is, can Norwich City stand up to the test? Thanks for watching.